Welcome back to Hanratty'S Huddle with your host, Terry Hanratty. I'm Dave Taronio. And Terry, this is an interesting time of year. We are knee-deep in the football seasons with the obviously college football and Notre Dame and other teams as well as the NFL. But let's start with your Fighting Irish.
The Irish are interesting.
Okay. I got you.
And as we've said a million times before, you can't have any success on the football field without an offensive line.
Right.
And right now we're down 60% of our starting offensive line that was starting at the beginning of the year. So it's going to be very difficult. I mean, I think this week against Louisville, I think it's going to be a real dogfight. I mean, and we're a pretty big favorite, which I'm going, what? That's unbelievable. Because we've proven we can lose at home over the years.
Yes.
Even though we never did when I was there and before me and after me, that Notre Dame Stadium was always very sacred. And, but, you can't, you're playing very good, very young players now. I mean, next year, hate to look to next year when we're a third of the way into the season.
Yeah.
But we're going to have all these three guys that are out for the year, they're all going to be back, and they were all starters. Plus, you have the young guys that are gaining a phenomenal amount of seasoning this year. It's going to be wonderful for us. We're going to have to be very deep in offensive linemen. But this year is going to be a real challenge for the offensive line coach, Joe Rudolph, to put together five guys on the offensive line that are going to, coordinate and be a team. That's where your real team is, your offensive line.
Yes. Well, it's funny. You mentioned a couple of things, and we'll just touch on it. So, home field advantage in that stadium, and there's been a lot of talk about Riley, and he's a little bit more nervous playing in front of the home crowd, and listen, that is one of the premier quarterback positions in not just football, in all of football, pro or college. And, so until he gets his footing.
But you can't win a lot by using the quarterback as your number one weapon running.
Right.
Luckily, they did come out last week, and they threw the ball deep. I go, whoa. Everybody said, well, he can't throw the ball deep,
Yeah.
He threw the ball deep pretty well. So, I think that's a real plus.
Yes.
But when you start running with designated, you want a quarterback who can move. You don't want a running quarterback.
Gotcha.
But he's right now is a running quarterback because they have designed plays where they actually run the ball, rather than having too much pressure from the offensive line and having to pick a spot and pick up a first down.
Yeah.
Big difference. So I think if they keep him in the pocket more, it's going to be tough because, they're coming up against some teams now that we're going to start playing that are pretty decent on defense, and Louisville being one of them. And so I think it's going to be a challenge for us this week. I'm anxious to see the game and go on from there.
Okay, so you said Louisville's a big favorite. They're only,
No, they're in 7.5 or 7. So
on this one, it's 6.5, which means money is actually going on Louisville. If that was the opening spread, then the spread comes down, then that's where the money's going, right? So Louisville's coming in 3-0 with wins over Austin Peay 62-0. We won't count that. Jacksonville State wouldn't have 14.
Throw that away.
We won't count that. Georgia Tech could win 31-19.
Good win. Georgia Tech could not run the ball.
Yeah.
On Louisville, and Georgia Tech is known for the running game.
Right.
So, if we can't run the ball on Louisville, it's going to be a real tough afternoon for us.
And I'm wondering if there's any weather issues because we do have a hurricane coming through the south. So it's going to be very interesting to see, where that goes. And I haven't seen it.
It's going to stay east, so I think Indiana's pretty good shape.
Okay. So you never know. So that's listen. Notre Dame is 3-1. Obviously, the loss is really crushing.
And the thing is, I wanted to see how good, because I made excuses for us last week after 2 weeks ago after the Northern Illinois game. How mature and everything they were. Then they lost to Buffalo last week. So I'm going,
right. Boy, oh boy. So you talk about a trickle down.
That was just a flat out ass kicking.
You just
I can't get over that game.
Yeah, it's amazing. Northern Illinois is just kind of like, oh my God, we beat Notre Dame, and then they shit the bed. Excuse my French, against Buffalo. Well, I'm sure Buffalo's a good team, but as we've said, that's a good conference, right? So
the MAC is a good conference. You look around the NFL.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of MAC players.
A lot of MAC players, absolutely. Akron, Ohio. So, any other premier games this week we should keep our eyes on?
The big one is down in Alabama.
Alabama. Ooh, my.
2 playing 3. Georgia traveling to Alabama.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting because it's going to be the Alabama coach's first big shot at, winning a big game in front of the home crowd. No more Nick Saban. And, Smart goes down there with a good football team. I mean, I'm surprised they took him out of number 1. I really think Texas is the best team in the country, but I don't think they deserve number 1 yet. Yeah. I thought they took Georgia out there out of it too early. But the real thing is that former President Trump is going to be at the game.
In Alabama.
And that's a terribly great red state.
Okay.
And I think those people are going to go absolutely crazy.
Okay. Well, all right.
So that's as political as we'll get.
Well, there's no need. That is a great game. Georgia is a 2-point favorite on the road at Alabama. I'm just looking to see if there are any other games we might want to keep an eye on.
Well, Saban's first game at Alabama at home was the last time Alabama was the underdog at home.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah.
That's something?
That is something. All right, so unless it's TCU, Kansas, those are always interesting games. And that Kansas is a 1.5-point favorite in that game. So Syracuse playing well. Syracuse, they got Holy Cross this week.
Now watch out for Illinois playing at Penn State.
Okay,
Illinois is a pretty good football team.
Yeah, well, and
I've seen them play the last couple of weeks, and they've got a good quarterback. That's Altmaier.
Okay,
and he's moving the ball well, and Beeline, the head coach at Illinois.
Yeah.
He is an interesting guy. I mean, he puts out some tough teams. He used to coach at Wisconsin.
Yep.
And so they obviously going to have good offensive line. And they got some good portal kids. And I think they may give Penn State a real tussle up there.
Okay. All right. And that game's at State College, you say?
Yeah, at Penn State.
Funny, I don't see that game.
We know it won't be snowing up there yet.
Not yet.
Give them another week, you'll probably get snow.
That could be a weather element game on this, depending on where this hurricane goes. So, very interesting. For some reason that game is not listed. Are you sure that game is this week?
Well,
all right. Well, we'll figure it out. So, so we have that, and then we have other stuff, which is unfortunately the way of the world now. The other stuff being NIL and what's happening in that world. So you have an UNLV team that is 3-0. 3-0, off to a great start. Quarterback's playing well. And this week,
quarterback a transfer from Holy Cross.
Okay.
He signed at UNLV for supposedly $100,000.
Yep.
I guess one of the assistant coach, the way he claims, I don't know, we don't know what the truth is here. The quarterback is claiming that this coach, guaranteed him $100,000 to play at University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Right.
And the way that the NIL is going these days, that's not that much.
It's not a lot. It's not.
These kids are making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So you got to sort of believe the kid. They offered him just $100,000, and he was willing to take that.
Yeah.
And he's the starting quarterback. He's a running quarterback.
Yep.
And they're 3-0, and they're ranked, I think, 23 or 24 in the country. And he said, forget it then. But this is the week. You have to play under 4 games.
Right.
To be able to go back into the portal and claim a redshirt year.
Right.
So this is Notre Dame lost a kid this week.
Yeah.
One of their defensive backs said, okay, enough for me. I'm going to jump in the portal. This way they save a year.
Yeah. You can play 3 games.
This is the week that all the movement you'll see in college. So this kid said, okay, I'm not getting $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could be saying, maybe I get more somewhere else.
I show what I can do in 3 games.
Yes.
Let me jump in the portal, see who wants me, see if I can get a bigger NIL deal. And that is what.
And probably won't get anything less. As we said, $100,000 is not a big deal in the portal.
Yeah, they came, of course, according to his dad, they came back to him and said, we can give you $3,000 a month, and that's all we can do. So I don't know, who knows, you never know, he said, she said, but at the end of the day, this can of worms with the NIL, transfer portal, what you just said, now there's no contracts, you can walk away. They don't give crap, quite frankly, about the education or the courses that they're taking.
No,
that is not. Nobody even mentions that anymore. No. I mean, I'm just going to leave. Were they even going to class? So
I would guess not. I mean, there's probably a good chance that he could have already had a degree from Holy Cross. We don't know that.
Holy Cross is a great school, so I would never disparage that. So,
but I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg here. These kids, if you're going to go for any kind of money from one school to the next, you better have an attorney with you. Get your family attorney, and have him look at a contract. I don't think there's any contract. I don't think there's any papers signed by anybody.
Part of the problem.
In all schools right now, the school and the coaching staff has nothing to do with the money.
Right.
It's a third party that funnels the money to these players, and every school has it at third party. And that's how they do it.
Yeah.
The university is not obliged to do anything with that. So they have to get from that third party, and it's usually alumni that are involved in that.
Yeah.
So, you have to get a written contract. That's all there is to it. I mean, why make that jump?
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to talk down to our audience. I'm sure they are aware of what is happening in this. But you see what's happening at every college now is hiring. Now they'll have an athletic director, and they'll have a general manager to manage these NIL deals. St. Bonaventure, a small school that doesn't even play football. They have basketball, pretty Division I basketball program, same conference as URI. Adrian Wojnarowski, who was making $20 million a year with ESPN, he left, and maybe it was a quality of life thing for him. I get that. That's fair.
He's alumni.
Yeah, he's an alum, and he's going to run their NIL deals. He's going to be their general manager. Now, every college is going to have one of these general managers. AD is going to oversee, all the traditional things. The general manager will oversee all the new revenue. Ed Cull, a buddy of mine who just left Fordham for St. John's, in his interview said it's all about revenue creation.
Yeah.
And they have a great, Mike Rapoli, who is a billionaire, sold vitamin water to Coke, is a St. John's alum, big guy in the horse racing industry. So they have access to a guy with billions, and this is what it's become. It's about how much money you can.
No, you have to be able to raise money.
Yeah,
there's no doubt there, and I'm sure, I would guess that these people being hired by these universities are saying, okay, but I will get X percentage of the money that I raise. Because a university can only afford to pay a small percentage.
You're going to get a commission.
Okay, and I will, if I can raise $10 million, hey, I get 10%, whatever. I don't know any numbers. I'm just sort of throwing out numbers here.
I would say that's a fair assessment. 10% of what I bring in, and I'll do it for you. A guy like Adrian, who can call any owner in the league.
He has great connections.
Yeah, great connections, can say, and by the way, that's a great conduit, and it's a great recruiting tool to say, we got a guy who knows every owner in the NBA, and can call every scout and every agent in the NBA today. And so if you're a kid and you're like, I might try St. Bonaventure because I know I'm going to have a great in. Yeah. Because that's what I want to do. They all want to play in the NBA. I don't care. Believe me, I worked at Iona. Every kid there thought they wanted to play in the NBA. So
go to any high school nowadays. They're all going to be in the NBA.
But I guess the bigger point is not to dwell on that, but that there are more options now for kids to play basketball overseas and professionally in other places other than the NBA. So. By the way, speaking of basketball for a second, our girl Caitlin Clark got knocked out last night in the playoffs.
She did. I watched the game.
Did you?
And they had Connecticut has a good team.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
And they had her. The night before she was 4 for 17.
Oof.
And so I really think she needs a rest.
Yeah, she went right from college.
She won 12 straight months of playing.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that when she was at Iowa.
Yeah.
She carried the team.
Yeah, she
couldn't have a bad night.
No.
She couldn't come off the court. And she doesn't have the frame that's going to really be able to go that long and that hard. But she did. Then, I thought her not getting picked for the Olympics was a blessing for her.
I think she
would have a 2 or 3 week vacation where she could rest her body and get ready for the last part of the WNBA. And she looks a little tired.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to have that spring and that bomb that she throws up there.
I got you.
And she's not shooting that well. I think she played better last night.
Did she?
But it's still now it's not that consistency that you're used to seeing of her.
Right.
But she needs a break. She needs to sit down and relax and rest and
that was the crowd at that game.
Go to the island and put your feet up.
How was the crowd at that game, was it?
It was very crazy.
Yeah.
It
Full crowd there?
Yeah, very nice crowd.
Arena?
And, she's done so much for this league. It's crazy.
I agree.
I'm anxious to see what the playoffs look like.
Going forward. Yeah. See how the ratings are and how, you're right. Because she is a draw. There's no doubt.
She's a definite draw.
You cannot
no
deny
doubt.
that. Okay, very good. So onward and upward to the NFL, where the league, where your Steelers are now.
Steelers are on top.
3-0.
Who would have thought it this time?
Well, Steelers fans, all Steelers fans.
We're very optimistic, and
they are, yeah.
But I think Fields is definitely the quarterback.
Oh, okay.
He's done so well. He's not making any mistakes. He's not making that bad throw. He was known in Chicago for being a turnover guy. So, that's why they got rid of him. They wanted that possession kind of guy and just march the ball down the field and not throw the interception. But a lot of times when you throw an interception, you're going for the big shot.
Yeah.
So it's either, feast or famine.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh has controlled him. I think they've protected him pretty well, and he's a good runner.
Right.
And he's not, he runs because he has to, but not because he wants to.
I think a guy like that, like Fields, and maybe Caleb Williams is learning this, and the other rookie quarterbacks, it really isn't about putting the team on your back. It's about doing what you can do with your offense and winning the game. It's like they haven't been winning these games 48-7.
No.
I mean, they're winning ugly, if you will, but then there's nothing wrong with that. People say, "Oh, it's not fun football to watch." You know what? They don't give a crap.
No, there's not an asterisk beside that win column.
That's right.
And they have, I think they have their opponents at 10 points a game.
Right. They have
and the NFL, that's unheard of.
That is, and so they're at Indianapolis this weekend.
At Indy.
At Indy, when Indy's coming off their first win, they beat the Bears and Caleb Williams 21-16 last Sunday.
So, Caleb Williams had a good game.
I watched the red zone, so I'll give you that. So, but I think our guy for the Broncos had a better game.
Yeah, Bo Nix. I mean, he's the real deal. He's playing well, and I think it has a lot to do who's calling the plays too.
Right.
You got to know what your quarterback can do and what his favorite things to do, and put him in a position to succeed. That's the whole thing.
And you know where Bo is on Sunday?
Where's Bo Sunday?
New York Jets.
Oh,
yeah.
In New York?
In New York.
Wow. That'd be interesting.
Yep, here in New York. And so that means our guy Zach Allen will be in town.
Right.
And I'm sure Zach will have a ton of people at that game. We always wish Zach and our New Canaan connections.
I was Zach's first coach,
There you go.
When he
told him everything you knew, right?
When he was in first grade.
You teach him how to be 6'6".
I coached him. I coached him along with my daughter was in the same class, and it was first grade basketball.
Yep.
And I played half court.
Yep.
It was 5-on-5.
Yep.
And it was, I said, in a mingle. My daughter played point guard. And Zach was obviously he was a head taller than anybody then. And I had one of these teams, and for some reason, the team was given to you. It wasn't a draft or any of that stuff.
Yep.
But all five of them, I had like 7 kids. I think every team had 7 kids. They could all play.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I was in a position where I had to stop my team from scoring.
Yeah.
To keep the game close.
Yeah.
But I told my daughter, I said, and I nicknamed Zach Allen Baby Shaq.
That's a good nickname.
And I told her I'd drive down the middle.
Yeah.
And if they stop you, just throw it over the top.
Yeah.
And throw it to Baby Shaq. And baskets were like 6 feet. So he'd just drop it in the basket every time. And if they'd fall back and she'd take a little shot there, a good shot.
If we get our
just beat everybody. So he was nicknamed Baby Shaq. I don't think the Broncos are calling him Baby Shaq.
I doubt it, but still, I mean,
at his side. And I used to tell his father, Mike.
Yeah.
Because he thought he was going to be either a baseball or a basketball player.
He's a good athlete.
And I told him, Mike.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be an offensive tackle.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I still to this day said, he has the feet for it, great feet, size
too. He can,
and he doesn't have the speed to be a tight end.
Well,
I mean, he has great speed for a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman, which is very good.
I'll tell a quick story about him from his high school days here in New Canaan. On Thanksgiving Day, on a cold Thanksgiving Day, It was a very tight game, and we thought this won the game for us. Zach came in and he just stripped the ball out of the Darien quarterbacks. The quarterback had the ball in his hand, and Zach came in, instead of tackling, he just took the ball from him and ran for a touchdown. It was a great play. But unfortunately, we lost that game. We, meaning New Canaans, I shouldn't say that. But at the end of the day, so yeah, listen, it's going to be an interesting. We may have this Tampa game might need to be rescheduled from. Because Tampa Bay is actually playing the Eagles on Sunday afternoon, so I don't know if they're going to get that, because they're expecting some major damage from this hurricane. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting how Florida, even because it's coming up to Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, well, it's coming through Florida, though. It's coming up the west. It's coming through Tampa up and then to up north. So we just listen. Our thoughts and prayers with everybody down there. Hope we get through it safe. And then obviously the games are not the biggest distraction at this point. So let's get everybody safe down there. But let's just see if we have any premier games in the league besides your Steelers, the Jets we mentioned with the Broncos. That should actually be a pretty good game. Here's the game of the day, maybe the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. That's probably going to be a very good game.
Yeah, that's going to be
and then you also have two. I don't know why they do this. Do you know why they do this? They have two more games on Monday night.
Why are they having these doubleheaders?
I don't know. We had Tennessee at Miami.
I don't understand that.
And at 7:30, and then at 8:15 you have Seattle, Detroit. I don't understand it, but listen,
maybe they're trying to.
It's got to be. They've done it, So you might have three games that night if they move that Tampa game. It might be another Sunday.
Right.
So, but good. All right. So let's finish up.
I got to mention something about.
I know.
I'm going to throw a flag on someone from Pittsburgh.
Okay, I know, and I'm going to transition.
The owner of the Pirates.
Right.
Nutting.
Okay.
He has a player, Rowdy Tellez, Tellez.
Yep.
Who, he needed 4 more times at bat.
Right.
And to get a $200,000 bonus.
Cheap.
What does the owner do? Cuts him.
That should be an investigation. He should be,
the league office should step in.
Yep.
And make him pay the $200,000 plus interest.
That's right.
I mean, this is absolutely absurd. I've watched the Pirates. That was growing up just north of Pittsburgh. That was my favorite team of all time, all the Pirates. Then when I played for the Steelers, I got to work out with the Pirates because we shared the field. So when they're practicing, I'm trying to throw the football, and they were my receivers. So I got to know the Pirates really well. So watching them in the 60s and the 70s and being part of the, practicing, goofing around with the Pirates. And, it was my team.
Yeah.
And to see this nutting drive the Pirates into the dirt every year is really, really obnoxious.
It really is sad.
They should take the franchise away from him because all he is doing, he's living off the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, all the revenue sharing. He's collected $50 million a year or around there. And that shouldn't, he's not putting, if you look at the Pirates, I mean, Cole is a former Pirate.
That's a bunch of them.
One time, I forget what it was, there were World Series, the starting pitchers were both ex-Pirates. We have a great system.
Right.
And we develop these kids.
And then they go play for other teams.
Then as soon as we sign them, they become greatness, and they're gone. We get a lot of draft choice for it. And he's just running this through. And there's got to be something done for it. I mean, you got to be able to look at a franchise and say, this is not helping baseball.
Well, based on the leadership, and this is where I was going to head you, because I knew you wanted to talk about that, but based on the leadership that I've seen from this commissioner and MLB, wouldn't expect them to do anything. They had a chance to really get ahead of this Mets-Braves situation with the weather. Everybody could see it coming. Now they have the doubleheader that they may have to make up on Monday after the season is over. It's not fair to either team, not just because I'm a Met fan. It's not fair to the Braves either. It's not fair, so sometimes you just got to be proactive or smart, and I don't see any of that in this commissioner or that league. I'm sorry to say.
Well, he should do this because Oliver I became friends with.
Yeah,
and he and I are friends on Facebook. Great player.
Yes.
And he put something on Facebook, about this. That's the first I heard about it.
Well, we should get Al Oliver. Some of your buddies, we got to start getting these guys
up
here.
We will.
Yeah,
as soon as we get our permanent home.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Well, that's happening.
That's happening soon here. So that's very exciting for us.
By the way, you and I had a very nice discussion with Jim from
Jim Rooney
from the Steelers.
Yes.
In my class on Monday. He was tremendous. I have that recorded as well. So if anybody wants to hear that, it's more about, how the league got involved with the revenue sharing and media and stuff. So, send us a text or an email. We're very easily found. You can find Terry or me on Google or LinkedIn. So, with that, we'll wrap it up, Terry, unless you have something else.
No, we're good for now.
All right. Signing off for today, I'm Dave Toromeo for Terry Hanratty. Have a great week. Enjoy your football.